by the time Thursday comes around, and I know where we're at right now, that everybody in this organization will be on the same page, and we're going to do and pick the best players we think we can pick that are going to be best for the Minnesota Vikings. I want to make an announcement on a potential signing, but it may only be for one day. We're going to sign Pat Williams back as our nose tackle, and then retire him as a Minnesota Viking. So very excited about that. Pat has meant not only what he's done on the field, but off the field. He's one of the great all-time leaders and great all-time players here for the Minnesota Vikings. And there'll be more to come on that. I know he's going to be involved with our draft party down there. We'll sign him to a contract on Thursday. Unfortunately, we're going to have to release him on Friday. I think this is going to be one of the most intriguing drafts that I've been associated with, because of the depth of the draft. And to be honest with you, where we're picking at 23 and 25, we're looking at all our needs. I mean, from the whole defensive side of the ball to needs on the offensive side of the ball, trying to distinguish what makes this potential receiver better than this corner, better than this linebacker, better than this defensive end, better than this defensive tackle. And a lot of it will be predicated on who comes down to us, I think, on what happens with the quarterbacks. And, we've prepared ourselves. What if there is no quarterbacks taken before we pick? And what kind of scenario could we be facing? The phone has been, whether you believe me or not, but I'm telling you, it's been the most active it's been in a while because of where we're picking. And I don't know the reason why, but there are a lot of teams that potentially are jockeying from the top of that second round. There's some teams jockeying potentially in the bottom of the first round to come up to one of our picks at 23 or 25. And that's something that we're going to be very open to, because I think if we decide to go ahead and trade back in this draft, because of the depth at the positions of need that we have, we can still get a very similar player, potentially pick up some things either this year or next year. It was kind of like putting a Rubik's Cube together. I can literally say 2 to 3, sometimes 4 players that we've hammered through. And I could tell you yesterday, we were in with the defensive coaches and hammering through that one more time. What is the significance between it, But in the end result, by the time we got finished with the defense and then with the offense and with the scouts, I can honestly say that whoever we end up with, I do know that there'll be a major part of this franchise, a major part of this football team next year and even going forward. The other thing that I will tell you about is that because of the depth of this draft, and if there is less depth at one position, we may take that position over another position where there's more depth at, even though those players may be equal in ability. The other thing I'm looking at very hard is where our depth is in 14 as well. And if there's a significant player there that may not have as big a significant role in 13, but can have a tremendous impact for our team in 14, that is definitely going to come into consideration as well. I don't see us right now looking to move up in the first round, but that could change here. There is never a draft that you don't think that, hey, your 5th round pick's not as important as your 1st round pick. You always have to have that mentality on whoever you're picking, wherever you're picking, that you want that guy to make your football team and you want that guy to help you win ball games, regardless of what round he's in. Because once the draft is over, no one really cares what round they came in. I mean, you guys will walk, right? But who cares if he's a 5th rounder, if he's a 3rd rounder, if he's a 1st rounder? If he's out there helping our team win football games, that's what we're trying to do. I'm just trying to predict if the guy fits what we want from a football character standpoint, from a football player standpoint, and from an off-field standpoint. And, we've had a lot of discussions on guys in this draft that may have off-field issues or has had off-field issues, but we've spent a tremendous amount of time going to these players, out to visit with them individually, having our experts in those areas visit with them individually, whether they were here at our facility or we went out there. And guys that had issues, we may have been solved. I can tell you there were a lot of them that we've been with 3 or 4 times this spring. Now, I'm not going to tell you what decisions we made on those players, but I feel comfortable enough to say that we would definitely feel comfortable with that player, or we're not. So just because you guys read out in the papers that, hey, they must be very interested in this guy because they visited with him or went to dinner with him or went to do this or that, that has nothing to do with whether we're going to take the guy or not. It's more honing in and making a decision on, is this guy the right fit or not the right fit. Yeah, I think that both this offense and defensive line class is very deep. I think the safety class is very deep. I think the corner class is very deep. I think the receiver class is very deep. And I think the linebacker class is very deep. So that's why I feel very comfortable saying that let's just take the best player available, because I know we're going to get a swing at a potentially significant player in the 2nd round, in the 3rd round, and I think there'll be some significant players with both our 4th round picks as well. Besides everything we feel about the chemistry and everybody we want to bring in the locker room from a football standpoint, I know from a schematic standpoint we're trying to get a 3-down linebacker, a guy that has the athletic skill set to play all 3 downs. I know you see the cover 2 and a lot of stuff that we do on defense. Can he flip his hips and cover down the seam, do a lot of things like that?